Man, I love this concert. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 120. It is the second day of the week, aka the Quadzilla workout. I'm on the way to the gym right now. Tried to get one of the other guys to come, but he is either asleep or asleep. So today we did Operation Music, aka played loud music right by his window. Did not work, so I'm gonna have to try something a little bit more creative next time. Might get 2 wood blocks and just start going like boop, with them, but we'll see. That's for a future date. I'm feeling good. I'm on my way to the gym right now. Legs feel great. I'm excited to do these squats. But anyway, let's go to the main subject for today's video. So, as you probably read from the title, I'll talk about my inspiration as to why I wanted to do this video today. So, basically, last night I was watching a Limp Bizkit video of them playing Nookie live, and it was like recent. It was like 5 months ago or something like that, and it took place in Chile or something like that, Lollapalooza, Chile, which is crazy that they still have Lollapaloozas. But the main reason why I wanted to talk about it was because at a certain point they had a crowd shot, and in the crowd shot they had everybody basically had their phones out and recording some of the song, because it was Nookie, which makes sense, right? But I was also kind of like, damn, all of these people are watching this concert through their phone. Now, there are some people who do the entire, like, put the phone right next to their face and not give a fuck about what they're recording, which is understandable. But I feel like that is a very few and far between that actually do that, and I feel like a lot of them end up watching the concert via their phone. And I don't like that for a lot of different reasons, and I don't think I'm the only one who will say this. This isn't a controversial take at all. Because I feel like a lot of people would agree with this, but I just wanted to talk about this because it was like, damn, this still happens all the time. I'm gonna give an example of something that it worked out well, but it's just kind of crazy to see this, and I'm like, wow, these people are not really, I hate the term using this, but living in the moment, quote unquote. I hate saying that because it's so, I'm gonna just say fruity is the best way to describe it. It's so like eat, pray, love in a way, and I don't like that at all. It is accurate when it comes to describing what's happening, specifically when it comes to like concerts and stuff like that. And it isn't just that example. I'll probably get into more examples in the voiceover, but it's just kind of like, damn, these people are gonna remember this via a small shitty phone video rather than their memory of actually watching it live, you know? And I get why they do it. Obviously, cameras have gotten to the point now where they're amazing, and you can see, like, especially the ones on your phone where entire movies are filmed on them and all that other stuff. But it just feels so pocket-sized, and you're kind of like not experiencing what it should be like there, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say I haven't done this. I'm guilty of it. Even in like a few years ago, I remember I took random videos of the Slipknot concert that I went to, and I'm one to say I'm guilty about it, but then again, I'm like thinking about it back, I don't look at those videos and I'm like, oh yeah, remember this? I more think of the concert in general and the parts where I didn't record for some reason, you know what I mean? It's like as if recording made it so my brain doesn't allow me to remember the actual moments that happen, and thus making it so I rely on the phone, which is the second brain in essence, and thus I don't remember it, you know what I mean, unless I see it, and then when I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. And I don't like that, and I feel like there's a lot of things that, although great for certain things like that, I feel like a still image is always great to capture a moment or two. Something like recording a whole song or a whole set or whatever the fuck at a concert is kind of ridiculous, and kind of, you know, like ruins half of it to the point where you probably won't even remember half of it. I feel like a lot of people will end up looking back on it, remember the memory via the video versus memory via their mind. And there are certain things that you can do that with, and it makes kind of sense. You know, you can like delegate it to memory somewhere else, and it can save you some time. Concerts like that, you spend so much money and shit and time and effort to go to one, that why would you spend any like amount of your second brain power in holding those memories when you, in reality, you want to keep it in your first brain? You know what I mean? Like, you paid so much money for it, you want all the memories you can from it all on you, you know? And I always found that weird personally. way. I mean, even I'm guilty of it, but even then I'm like, all right, that's something I think I've changed about, like, you know, since I've gone to that last concert, where I'm like, all right, I'll just take like a photo and that's it. I've done that with a lot with going to sporting events. So what I'll do is just take one photo at the beginning of the sporting event, and then that's it. That's all I do. I don't like to take any videos. I don't like to take anything like that, because then it's like, all right, I look at the photo, I'm like, oh yeah, I did go to this game, or oh yeah, we went to this game, that game. Like, it's the memory of the game, a quick snapshot of what happened at the game itself before it began, and then I can remember what happens in the game later on. And there are certain things like that that I just appreciate a little bit more, and I think more people would agree with me on that. I don't think anything I'm saying here is controversial. And I'll give you this one last thing before we go inside. I am for people or groups or bands or whatever, if they say, please do not take photos or videos of our concert. I'll never forget, I went to go see Flight of the Conchords with my brother. What is it? At Wolf Trap. And it was a great concert. Have no, like, film or anything from it or anything like that, because they made everybody put away their phones, and it was great. It was excellent. It was a good time. It was everybody enjoying, you know, a moment together in a way. So I really did enjoy that, and I think that is something underrated, and I feel like more artists and people should do that, because I feel like, why not just be like, all right, take your phones out for this one thing, and then all right, put it away, because I want you to remember the rest of it. And I feel like a lot of other artists do that, but still, I feel like it should be a little bit more universal. I personally feel as well. And obviously you're gonna have the dickheads, but they're always gonna be dickheads regardless of whether or not they're listening to the people or not. But if you're paying for to go see them, and then you're being a dickhead towards them, well, that's a whole other issue and a whole other subject on a whole other day. But with that being said, I'll see you on the inside. Alright, so start this day off with RDLs, as I will discuss later why I don't start off with squats. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Basically, I hate saying this term, living in the moment. I dislike it a lot. I'm not a big fan of even saying or discussing something like this, because I feel like it is such a cliche thing to say, and it is something that I don't personally like to say whenever talking to somebody about these types of subjects. But with modern things how they are today, I feel like it is an accurate representation of things to happen, if that makes any sense. So it's just like eat, pray, love. Even though I hate that term, I hate the entire idea of it, the thing behind it still makes sense. You know, it's like, it hurts me to even have to be willing to give that any acceptance, if that makes any sense. But certain people just need to hear these things, and for me it's the entire, like, living in the moment. So for example, I have a concert coming up that I know I'm going to go to in the very near future. I'm probably going to pull out my phone exactly one time, and that is to take one picture, and that's about it. Probably of me and my wife there, so we can remember, oh hey, that was the night we went to the concert, and that's about it. That's literally the only thing I want to remember from that, and everything else I want to put in my main brain. But we'll get to that in a second. I feel like a lot of people nowadays just use their phone as the crutch, the way to get out of things whenever they don't want to interact with social people and or be in a social situation that for them feels awkward for some weird reason or another. And that is, one, terrible, but two, also just you're living on a crutch that will always technically have, but you'll never be able to grow out of. I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten to the point where now I could just sit anywhere and just be living in the world without the need for my phone. The phone is great whenever you have to sit there for quite some time and there's nothing else to do, but also at the same time, I don't rely on the phone. I don't necessarily need the phone. The phone is a tool, but it is just a tool just to help, but it's not the only tool that I need. And some people rely on it for too many things, and also pay too much attention to it when there are other things that are more pertinent or more interesting happening around in the world. Even to give an example of this weekend, I saw a guy with his family who was looking at his phone while his kids were doing something cute, and the wife was trying to get his attention to, you know, like, hey, the kids are doing something cute, but he was doing something else on his phone. And now I get it, he might have been doing some business or whatever the fuck is happening on the phone, but realistically, you can wait like 30 seconds to fucking put this shit down and just watch your kids do something. You're only gonna have them be so small for so long, so it might as well pay attention to these moments, because when they're gone, and they're gone for good. It's not like you can go back and have them be a child. Sure, they might look like a child in your eyes, but still, they aren't the same. And that's why I always say, put the phone down every once in a while. I mean, I enjoy my friend Henry. I will always give Henry this. Henry is a to put it in perspective, loud, obnoxious person in general. I love the guy to death though. But the one thing that he always does, and I'll give him credit to the end of time, is the fact that whenever we hang out, he never touches his phone. Never. We always just stay talking. And he makes it a point too. He's like, no, when we hang out, we're hanging out. I'm not going to go on my phone. Which is something that I've come to appreciate, especially later in life, where now you pick up the phone as the, there's nothing to talk about, might as well look at your phone type of idea. So it is something that you grow to appreciate, especially when you see it doesn't happen. And that's the other thing, is that I feel like a lot of people end up using their phone to try to remember memories, right? Or try to like record stuff, to try to make sure that they have this thing in there forever, or whatever else is happening, you know, like just so they have a glimpse, a video, or a memory of something on a phone. And that's fine, all right? Every once in a while, that's good. But I feel like people over-rely on it and take pictures and videos of every single thing to the point where they offload it onto this digital device and don't really retain it for themselves. And that was the second brain thing that I talked about. So I sometimes treat my phone or just anything like this as a second brain, as something else that I can offload all of my memories or just thoughts, ideas, opinions, whatever, onto something else that isn't mine, so that way my brain can function at a slightly better pace and also retaining certain things that I want to retain. People will often do this with things that you would probably want to retain for yourself. Like, you know, like, sure, recording your baby's first steps is great. That's cool, right? But seeing them in person the first time would probably be even better. You know what I mean? Like, paying attention to and seeing it through a lens of your phone is only gonna be great, but then eventually you're just gonna see that instead of remembering it how you saw it the first time. I feel like a lot of people rely on this second brain or whatever to offload some of the better parts of their lives in order to remember them, but realistically they're not gonna remember them because they just keep going on and on and on and just adding more and more to the database, but not really ever going back to look at it. I'm not a huge fan of doing stuff like that. Now, as I've grown older, I've learned the importance of taking photos every once in a while of things, you know, the occasional video, whatever it is. But I feel like if it's not set up or done in a particular way, it's more of a offloading of a memory, and you're trying to just kind of like remember or just like put it in some place that realistically it's not going to be accessible at all times, and it's going to make it so it offloads it onto something else, and then unless you happen to possibly look at this, then you're not going to really remember it. I think that's something I've also grown to learn, is that you gotta pick and choose what you're willing to just say, fuck it, I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna use my brain to witness this and not anything else, because then I can cherish it a little bit more and be appreciative of what it is. It's fucking hot. And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed. None. Exercises skipped. We have one, which was squats, because I completely forgot my fucking shoes. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? When I had the optimism video, I ended up getting a ticket, which was hilarious. It's funny how the world works, right? So I got a ticket right after that. And then now, this time where I'm like, be in the moment, pay attention to what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. I instantly forgot my fucking squat shoes. It's funny how that works out, right? It's really, really funny. The world is a funny place. I find it hilarious, and it is also something that too funny on a lot of different levels, but it is what it is. It's just the world likes to play tricks on me. But anyways, it doesn't even matter. I'll do squats on Friday, and hopefully we can get the boy to come by then. We'll have to wait and see. But anyways, back to the main subject matter at hand. Pay attention to what you're doing. You'd be surprised what you can miss because you're not paying attention at all. I am literally guilty of it in this video. So pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure that you're, you know, in it for whatever it is, whether it be something small or large. I personally like to think of it important for when you're with someone, you know what I mean? Because you don't know how long you're gonna be with these people, slash these small little moments, especially when they're like, let's say if you have a kid when they're younger, these are the moments that you want to take care of and appreciate, because these are the moments that can last a long time for you, but also for them, because a lot of it is influential for them. But also with your friends, your family, your cohorts, because the future is very much unknown, and you're gonna enjoy it. And also pay attention to what you're doing that you want to pursue, you know what I mean? Like, having your head down and grinding is fine for like a job and whatever, but sometimes you got to look up and appreciate what you've done so far in the job, or else the job can get to you. You know, I'm at 120 videos, which isn't that much in the grand scheme of YouTube things. But for me, I didn't think I would actually keep this series going. You know, there are days where I'm like, fuck, I don't know what to do on recordings, but I'm still going, and I'm still going at it because I look at it, I'm like, fuck, I've gone this far, I can keep going, you know? So occasionally, every once in a while, to pay attention to what's going on in front of you and just appreciating what's happening is kind of nice, and I would say most people should do it for the most part. With that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts, your opinions, you know, a little bit of a hoo-hoo ha-ha towards me because, of course, I fucking forget my squat shoes today. It's just so funny how that works out. It's truly funny. I'm gonna do another video about some bullshit that's gonna happen on the same fucking day. I already know it. And I hope it's just something good. You know, these last two weren't that great, but also at the same time, they could have been way worse. So there is that. So we'll have to wait and see how that entire thing pans out. But that is for a future video and a future Oscar to deal with. But with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on with a new video tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. I already said that, but who cares? I'll see you tomorrow. Keep it heavy. Peace.